Argofunk Book Review, Argofunk Book Review.
Frozen Adventure Snowy Stories is a collection of various Frozen comics which are recycled from different sources. There's a fair amount of variety in terms of length. There are 22 longer comics, 2 of which are over 25 pages long. There are 26 one-page comics and 14 two-page comics. The short comics are jokes. They didn't interest me much. My favorite was the one where Anna tricks Kristoff into thinking Sven can talk. She hides and she talks in a Sven voice. This is all a setup so she can trick Kristoff into giving her chocolate. That was a great comic. It was funny. I wish the other joke comics were that funny. A lot of them are dumb things like, hey look, there's Marshmallow! That's the joke. Marshmallow looks silly. For the sake of this review, I will only recap the longer comics. First was a really good story. It could have been the plot of Frozen 2. Anna and Elsa have a distant relative named Thord, who's basically Flynn Rider from Tangled, only with sideburns and a ponytail. Already, that is a fantastic premise for a story. Thord thinks he should be the ruler of Arendelle, so he breaks into the castle. He finds a map leading to an ancient treasure called the Lure. It's said to be the source of the family's powers. Thord thinks that will give him ice powers, and Elsa is naturally very interested in learning where her ice powers come from. There's a big race to the treasure. Our heroes have to fight off Thord's thugs and a bear. They reach an ancient puzzle room, where Elsa solves the puzzle to reveal the lure. Thord causes a cave-in when he uses it. We're told the real source of the family's power is love. Thord is angry and swears to return to steal the throne some other way. I'm actually sad he doesn't reappear. He was an interesting antagonist. In the next comic, Olaf's head falls off. He sees wolves and thinks they want to play. Then his head gets reattached. That's the entire story. It's sort of a joke comic. It's nowhere near as good as the previous one. Next, the sisters teach school kids there's no reason to be afraid of Marshmallow the Snowman. Again, not very interesting. Next, some kids want to make inventions. Anna gives them supplies and helps them sell the inventions. This comic was okay, but the art kinda creeped me out. Anna has the same giant smile on her face in every single panel, like she's literally incapable of any emotion besides great joy. All of the other characters have the same smile. It creeped me out! Some of the other comics and some Frozen picture books have the same constant smiling situation. Next, there's a big sled race. Kristoff's main competition is the Duke of Wesselton. They are neck and neck for most of the race. In the end, the Duke is disqualified because his sled secretly has a steam-powered engine built into it. Next, Anna and Kristoff look everywhere for Olaf. He's in the mountains with Elsa. Next, Princess Adelaide is coming to visit Arendelle. Our heroes prepare a bunch of summer-themed decorations to make her feel welcome. They mess up the decorations, but there's a happy ending, as Adelaide loves snow more than anything else. I was a little disappointed we didn't get a very clear picture of Princess Adelaide, but I guess it makes sense because she never appears outside this comic. Next, Kristoff throws the sisters a surprise party in Troll Valley. He struggles to follow all the royal rules. He's worried over nothing, as Elsa and Anna don't care when the trolls ignore their rules. Next is a really long comic. The sisters go on a hike in the snow with Olaf. They talk about constellations. Elsa makes an igloo where everyone hugs each other until they fall asleep. They almost get attacked by a bear, and the bear is distracted by blackberries. Next, Elsa tells a story from when they were little girls. They pretended to be explorers in an unknown land. They got scared when it became dark, and it turned out their parents were nearby the whole time. Next, a story based on one of the Anna and Elsa books. I think it's the Arendelle Cup. I could be wrong about it. It's definitely part 2 of the story, because later on in this book we'll get part 1. I don't know why they put the second part first. Anyway, the story is that there are 5 kingdoms which just had a sled race. Kristoff is supposed to give them presents when he goes missing. They find him with an injured woodsman. The royals work together to clear the path, and the Duke of Wesselton is touched to see Elsa's presence. The 5 kingdoms agree working together is good. Next, everyone shares childhood memories about seeing the Northern Lights. Next is the second half of the first Anna and Elsa book. All the villagers come to see Elsa. She uses her ice powers to solve their problems, but she overdoes it and collapses from exhaustion. The next day, Elsa avoids using her ice powers, Instead, she helps the villagers by organizing a work party. Next, Kristoff loses a lucky charm, which Olaf rescues. Next, everyone takes a hot air balloon ride. It goes off course, and Elsa creates a bunch of ice, which weighs them down so they can land safely. Next, someone is destroying gardens and laundry. They search for clues. The humans track down false leads, while Olaf finds the real culprit, a baby reindeer. Next is part 1 of the Arendelle Cup. Again, it makes no sense to do part 2 before part 1. In part 1, we meet the racers from the Five Kingdoms. It's probably not a surprise that Leopold of Wesselton is a filthy cheater who tries to sabotage the competition. In his eagerness to win, Leopold goes into a dangerous avalanche zone. Everyone works together to help save him, and he is humbled. Next, they visit Chatho, which is one of the Five Kingdoms. It's an Asian kingdom ruled by Queen Kulissa. Kulissa shares the memory of when she visited Arendelle as a child. She and Elsa made a pillow for baby Anna. Next, the ice harvesters have an ice stacking competition. The ice blocks are so heavy, no one can make a tall tower. Kristoff and Anna make ice blocks shaped like Lego studs, which they easily stack into a tall tower. Next, another story from the Anna and Elsa book series. Oaken has a pie-eating contest. The challenge is to eat pie as slowly as possible. Anna and Kristoff like the pie so much, they can't eat it slowly. Ha ha ha, that's a joke. Next, the Five Kingdoms are gathered in Zarya, which is ruled by Jasmine and Aladdin. Okay, they have different names, but she looks almost the same as Jasmine. Her husband doesn't look much like Aladdin because he has a beard and a turban, but it's close enough. Jasmine wants to give everyone valuable flowers, but the seeds go missing. The Duke of Wesselton interrogates a gardener, while Anna and Elsa talk to a different gardener. They find where the seeds were accidentally spilled. Everyone has fun picking up the seeds, except for the Duke, who refuses to help. As a result, he misses the important instructions on how to grow seeds. Next, Olaf and the trolls have a competition to make loud noises. That's, an interesting note to finish the book on. Those are all the stories. I liked how there was an attempt to have a running storyline with 5 or so comics that deal with other kingdoms. I think they should have started with a comic that introduces who all the 5 kingdoms are. Maybe they shouldn't have had the comic with Princess Adelaide. She's not one of the 5 kingdoms. But you know what? Those aren't big problems. This graphic novel is 240 pages, making it far longer than the standard 60 to 70 pages of the other Frozen graphic novels. The large amount of content is definitely a plus. I give Frozen Adventure Snowy Stories a thumbs up.